welcome back to the Real Southern Garden. I am Sarah, and today is a quick little video. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. We reached 100 subscribers recently, and I just want to thank every one of you for subscribing to my channel, for watching my videos, sharing them, commenting, all of the good things. I am so excited to grow this channel. And as you know, the longer you watch each video, the better, because it helps the YouTube algorithm. And I am not a social media expert. I think I might be after this though. It's a little crazy, the YouTube world. I also did not come from a large social media following on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that. So I'm not bringing an audience over here. We're really starting from scratch. Only shared it with a few family and friends that I know are really gardeners and like to watch gardening content, because otherwise, you know, what's the point, right? Really trying to grow a community of people who love to garden and like to have fun, because that's who I am. And most of my friends in real life really are not gardeners, so I'm very excited to have this community and get to talk about gardening even more, because you people are my people. Like I need real friends that garden. So I just love it. I love YouTube. I have been a fan for so long. I've watched YouTube gardening probably since 2018, back when HGTV really started to take away their gardening content. Probably was a little before that. And everyone jumped to YouTube, and I just started watching it there. My oldest was a baby back in 2018, was living in Chicago. It was the dead of winter. It was so cold. And I remember just watching hours and hours of anything I could see that was green. It was gardening, and I really just fell in love with it. I wish I would have started my channel 10 years ago, honestly, but I always wanted like a solid foundation and like a garden that I was working at and going to live at for a long time. Looking back, I think the transformation period of going from apartment to a leased home and all of that would have been neat. I could have showed you how I gardened in small spaces and adapted things, but too late for that now. We're here now though, which is fabulous, and we love it. Another thing too is that right before my oldest was born, I mean, there was just a lot of things going on in the world, especially in America. A lot of things that were just out of our control, you know, and I hated that. I just want, who doesn't, right? We just want a beautiful world that we can all live and be happy and all of these things. And I thought, man, there's so much I can't control, but one thing I know I can do, and I'm gonna do, is to make my home and my surroundings as beautiful as I can, in a place that my family can be, just enjoy life and see pretty things. And I thought, well, I can control that. I can buy seeds, I can plant a garden. I mean, it takes a lot of work, don't get me wrong, but that was a huge catalyst for me, just that time period. And I've gardened my whole life, but I really knew at that moment, like, I'm gonna take this to the next level, and I really want my kids to grow up around it, because I grew up around it. And it has really been, you know, gardening can save you. I mean, it really does. It's such a grounding, no pun intended, thing for people, in my opinion. And I always tell people this, and it sounds cheesy, but gardening can really change the world. And it starts on a micro level with like you and I, you know, we garden. Lots of studies say that you live longer, you're healthier, it's good exercise, all of that stuff. You're in the sunshine, not too much sunshine, but you know, sunscreen, whatever. And then of course on a macro level, you pass it along to your grandchildren, or your kids, or your friends, or anyone else you can inspire. And then they, you would assume, would be happier and healthier, and that would all bleed into society. And I was a school teacher for a short period of time. I've done a lot of things. I've always gardened, but I've done a lot of different things professionally through the years. You guys probably don't care. One day I'll tell you all the stories. Anyway, but gardening has always been there. And when I was a teacher, for the short time that I was a public school teacher, man, I mean, there were just so many problems in schools and with youth, and with people in society and all of the things. And I just feel like if kids grew up around gardening, if they had that direct line to nature, maybe if they could see how hard it is to grow food. I mean, it's not impossible, but let's say it's not easy. It's just going down to the grocery store and buying a tomato, you know. I think that if they grew up around it, even on a small level, if it was just growing herbs or one tomato plant, whatever the case is, that they would just have a different appreciation for growing food and for gardening and for everything, nature in general, all those things. You don't hear about criminal gardeners. I mean, someone's going to write me and be like, hey, Sarah, actually, so I'm sure there's an exception to every rule, but usually those things don't go together. And I just think it'd be a better world if everybody could have their hands in the dirt a little bit more on some level. So that's where my mind goes sometimes. That's some deep thoughts from the garden, but I really do think that it is true. And my mom is a retired public school teacher, so I've grown up around hearing about all the things in schools and everything for a very, very long time. And those are the things that keep me up at night. And you wonder, like, what can we do? What can we change? How do we change this together? So I think gardening could be a huge component for that. That aside, switching gears, did any of you watch The Victory Garden growing up? I did. It was a show on PBS. I watched it every Sunday. I'd plop down on my parents' den floor with some M&Ms and some milk, and I would watch this guy garden. And then I would go out in our backyard and try to do whatever he was doing. If he was planting potatoes, then I was going to go try to plant potatoes. I wasn't doing it right, but I loved it. And then of course after that show was This Old House, and I would watch that with my daddy like every weekend. So anyway, those are core memories for me, and they are special, and they had a huge impact on me and who I am. And like I said, those shows aren't on TV anymore. Another thing that I think is fantastic about YouTube gardening channels, and I've said this before in other videos, so if you've heard it, sorry, but YouTube gardening, YouTube nature channels, anything like that, is that we're taking something that is very techy, very technologically based, and we are encouraging people to go out and do something, go out into the green, from this green to the green. Someone's going to take that and make a shirt out of it. I'm going to make a shirt out of it, but they're probably going to do it too. Anyway, and just combine, what you're watching on a device with getting outside, and whether it's gardening or taking a hike in nature or whatever it is, I think that is really cool. And I think that social media, I mean, YouTube is a part of social media, but it's kind of different than some of the other platforms. It's a lot different. But I think if we use technology, we use social media for the good, and there's so many good things that can come from it, then I think it's fantastic. And it's really just finding that happy medium and what you use it for. And I am very proud to be a part of a group that I feel like really helps people. Like I said, it definitely saved me when I was in Chicago in the winter and everything was just icy and cold, and I could turn on, Garden Answer back then. Back then they were like 5 years in, I guess. And I could watch her and see beautiful green stuff and get inspired. So it really is a neat thing. I've met so many great people on here already, from other gardeners to people that have channels that have been very supportive and very sweet. And I love it. I adore all of it. And we're going to have a lot of fun here. I wanted you guys to know that I'm very serious. I've done 45 videos in about 2.5 months. We're going to keep on going. I just did a lot. I wanted people to know that I was going to put out content, and I was going to, definitely be a face you would be seeing on YouTube. So here we are. We have a long way to go. We are still baby channel. We're very small. But I love all you guys, and I'm excited to see where we can take it. And yeah, we'd love for you to subscribe if you haven't, or give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and all that good stuff. And we hope to see you back here in the next video. Just want to tell you all thanks again. We'll see you next time at the Real Southern Garden.